Barrie is a vibrant and attractive city, well known for its access to nature and recreational opportunities. Our community is growing, both in the number of people who call Barrie home and the number of business opportunities. As Barrie continues to grow, our community energy and greenhouse gas emissions reduction plan will help to create positive environmental, social, and economic health for all. In recent years, communities worldwide have increasingly been calling for governments to act on climate change at the local level. In September 2019, several hundred residents took to the streets of Barrie, asking for climate action. In October 2019, City Council declared a climate emergency. The next step for the city was to start preparing a community energy and GHG emission reduction plan, the focus of today's presentation. The plan will help the community better understand how energy is used now and how we can work together as a community to be more energy efficient and reduce GHGs. In Barrie, we are already experiencing the impacts of a changing climate. We have seen more severe storm events, flooding, and infrastructure damage. These climate events impact the environment and cost city and taxpayers dollars to repair damages or replace infrastructure. In 2017, Barrie developed its first climate change adaptation plan and implementation strategy. The adaptation plan suggests that the city will have warmer temperatures and more frequent heat waves, more rain and snow in the winter, spring, and fall, and less rain in the summer months, and more extreme weather events. The energy we use in our homes, businesses, and vehicles produce emissions. Greenhouse gas emissions, like carbon dioxide, are the primary cause of climate change. As we continue to use energy and produce greenhouse gases, or GHGs, we contribute to climate change. One of this initiative's goals is to reduce the overall amount of GHG emissions produced in Barrie. Another goal of this initiative is to reduce the amount of money that our community spends on energy and ensure that more of the money spent on energy stays in Barrie. In 2018, the community of Barrie spent nearly $600 million on energy costs. Reducing our energy consumption means that more money is available for other priorities, both at the municipal and at the household level. Not only is reducing our energy and emissions good for our environment and our economy, but it also plays an important role in our residents' quality of life and health. For example, supporting active transportation reduces emissions and saves money on travel costs, provides exercise, and reduces air pollution, demonstrating the wide-ranging benefits of climate action. Developing our plan began early in 2020. The first step was to determine how much energy was used across the whole Barrie community in a given year. Data was collected from local utilities and city departments to determine all the energy use and emissions produced by homes, businesses, institutions, industry, travel, and waste in 2018. This number, our baseline, allows us to measure our progress over time. Next, we developed a business as planned scenario, which tells us how much energy and emissions would be produced in Barrie in the future if we don't take action. This looks at the impacts of climate change out to 2050. Now, we are developing a series of strategies to reduce our energy and emissions. We will be telling you more about these during this presentation. Strategies have been developed in partnership with a stakeholder advisory group, including Electra, Enbridge, IESO, school boards, and the college, the hospital, and the health unit, conservation authorities, the development industry, environmental groups, various city departments, and city council. The stakeholder advisory group will continue to provide strategic advice as we define our reduction targets, document the plan, and look towards implementation. Today's meeting provides residents with an opportunity to build on the stakeholder advisory group's work and help shape the plan. Further opportunities for comment will be available before the plan is presented to Council this fall. In 2018, the City of Barrie's residents and businesses used over 20 million gigajoules of energy to heat and power their homes and buildings and fuel transportation within the city. On an individual basis, The average person used 132 gigajoules of energy per year, about the same amount of energy consumed by 2.5 passenger vehicles in 1 year. Buildings, including homes, businesses, schools, the college, and healthcare, accounted for 57% of all the energy used in Barrie and represented 46% of energy costs. Transportation contributed 43% of all energy used, which is 54% of energy costs, most of which was personal vehicle use. In terms of costs, Barrie's community spent $596 million on energy in 2018 alone. That's about $4,000 per person on the energy used for homes and transportation. Most of this investment left the community. 87% of the money spent on energy left the local economy and ended up elsewhere in Ontario, Canada, and in some cases in the United States. Reducing our consumption and generating energy locally can help keep these dollars in Barrie. In 2018, the community of Barrie generated over 1 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, or nearly 7 tons per person. That's the same as 287 propane cylinders used for home barbecues by each resident in Barrie. Over half of the community's emissions were from private vehicles, with homes making up another 27%. The business as planned, or BAP scenario, helps us understand what energy consumption, energy costs, and emissions would be in Barrie's future. It is a model of energy use that assumes that no action is taken to reduce energy or emissions. The model takes into account the projected population and employment growth. It is estimated that without any climate action at the local level, energy use will increase by 36% from 2018 to 2050. Without action, Barrie's emissions will far exceed the provincial and federal reduction targets, shown by the yellow dots on the graph. Without action, Barrie will also see an increase in energy costs. By 2050, the community could be paying between $713 and $952 million in energy costs. The Community Energy and GHG Emissions Reduction Plan recognizes and responds to the need for local climate action. Our plan is structured around a framework that includes an overarching vision statement and principles, 4 big moves for reducing energy and emissions and associated goals, a series of strategies for each of the big moves, and considerations for implementation, which is how we make this plan a reality. The vision for the plan is, the City of Barrie is taking an integrated, ambitious, and action-oriented approach to climate action, which provides positive environmental, social, economic, and health outcomes for all. The plan's principles include acknowledging that there are economic benefits in pursuing climate action at the local level, recognizing and promoting the inextricable link between the natural and built environments, climate change, and our community's health and well-being, and fostering the health co-benefits of climate action, pursuing innovative solutions and an evidence-based approach to climate action, educating and inspiring residents and businesses to make positive environmental change, building on the city's leadership, developing strategies that are equitable and enhance the quality of life for all residents, benchmarking against best practices and looking for continuous improvement, enhancing positive environmental actions amongst Barrie's residents, and advancing Barrie's climate and energy goals in partnership with residents, organizations, and businesses. Our goal is to have near zero emissions in new and existing buildings. This means that all buildings and homes would have as few emissions as possible. Strategies to support this goal include developing a deep retrofit program to help existing buildings reduce energy use, developing a green development standard so that new buildings are designed to use less energy, working with industry to manage energy and increase efficiency, implementing renewable energy projects such as solar, and investigating district energy, a system where a group of buildings share heating and cooling loads to increase efficiency. We also want to have as few emissions as possible from transportation. Strategies to support this goal include advancing local transit options and GO train use, advancing the transition to electric vehicles, promoting active transportation, like cycling and walking, promoting and supporting car sharing, and advocating for the provincial government to create a high occupancy vehicle, or HOV lane, on Highway 400. The City of Barrie is currently developing a circular economy strategy. Creating a circular economy means we need to rethink the traditional 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, and recycle, and consider the value of materials and products before they become waste. It means finding creative ways to make items, use things in new ways, or return items so that they can be reused. It means reducing food waste and repairing or sharing things instead of throwing them out. In line with the circular economy strategy, our plan recommends reducing waste-related emissions. Our final big move focuses on the natural environment and land use. This big move is in line with the ongoing official plan review process for the city. Our goal is to create livable neighborhoods that support energy efficiency, mixed use, complete communities, and protection of the environment. This means building higher density neighborhoods that allow residents to live, work, and play without traveling long distances, exploring opportunities for neighborhoods that produce no net emissions, supporting our local food network, and supporting carbon storage in our trees, wetlands, and natural areas. As we continue to develop the strategies and plan for implementation, we will be working closely with our stakeholder advisory group. We will also be hosting targeted stakeholder sessions and provide another opportunity for residents to share their thoughts before presenting the final plan to Council this fall. Thank you for your interest in this important initiative. For additional information on the plan and to provide ongoing feedback, please visit www.buildingbarrie.ca/community energy.